Yes, Alex, I'll address that one. That was our plan from the very beginning, is to put this up on the internet and to have people make copies of it. And our only hope is that we can cover the production expenses and make enough return to make it worthwhile for the filmmakers. Paul and Michael, they're spending have spent a tremendous amount of time on this project. Once that's done, when we expect that'll probably be within a few weeks after release, and we get the first, whatever it is, 10, 20, 30,000 copies out there, then that's when we put it up on the internet. And we do want to make this viral. We want people to make copies, and we have a series called Project Red Pill, which is a DVD that we produce over at the Reality Zone. That's our little company. And Project Red Pill is a DVD which has anywhere from 5 to 6 full-length documentaries. It's not high resolution. It's the same resolution as you would find on the internet, but those are sold for under $1 each, and we ask people to buy those and then make copies of those. And in other words, we want tens of millions of copies of this thing to be put into circulation. It's the only way we can make an end run around the controlled media.
Absolutely, and that's been the secret to our success. People didn't believe me that they'd signed UN agreements to hand over our national parks and areas to UN control. So I went out and interviewed people, showed the documents, went there, and really, we were some of the first in 96, 97 to really pioneer what so many others are now doing. And that's great, because they can't just kill an Alex Jones or a G-Edward-Griffin or set us up or put us in prison, because there's so many other people coming online, so many thousands of filmmakers and authors. It is a powerful, powerful, powerful thing. Let's take some phone calls. Let me see who is up first here. Michael in Florida, you're on the air with G-Edward-Griffin and the other filmmaker, Michael J. Murphy. Welcome.
How you guys doing tonight?
Good, Michael.
Good. Hey, I got a question, and forgive my ignorance on the way that our whole atmosphere works, but I just shot a quick vid of a chemtrail over my house in Central Florida, and it was very obvious that at the treetop level, the winds were blowing at about 20 miles an hour, 30 miles an hour. They were really swaying good. And then at about 3,000 or 4,000 feet, the clouds were moving. You could visibly see all the clouds moving in the sky. Yet, the chemtrail that was above us was maybe 500, maybe 1,000 feet above the clouds, but it wasn't moving at all.
Well, there's different weather, strata. There's different, prevailing winds, jet streams, and jet streams are pretty easy to forecast. One of the big jet streams coming out of China and across the western United States dumps between New Mexico, Texas, and Louisiana. So much of the toxic waste from China ends up dumping in here, and that could be some of the aluminum and toxins we're already seeing. But, I mean, specifically, you're asking why was the chemtrail moving at a different rate? You can see weather systems where clouds are going this way and other clouds are going that way. That's normally a natural function. You want to comment on that, G-Edward-Griffin or Mr. Murphy?
Well, yeah, just to confirm that there are wind currents at different elevations, and they often go in different directions. It's kind of like looking at a big bowl of water. If you dumped some oil dye into the water, you could see the currents of the water. If you stir it up, you can find, at some levels the dye moves in one direction, and in other levels it may move in another direction for a while, and then before it gets all mixed up. So sure. It's the normal phenomenon.
And that's why the Pentagon's declassified in the 60s. They were able to direct major weather systems and dump jet streams with water directly into flood people. And that's one of the most declassified areas that we've interviewed, of course, Ben Livingston, the father of weather weapons. And that's going to be in our film. Let's go ahead and talk.
One more comment, Alex, on that. I think it's important to know that in Hawaii, for example, the people there, although they were being completely sprayed, very seldom did they see the planes, because the planes apparently were flying off the edge of offshore and letting the chemtrails ride in with the wind currents.
Yes.
So they know about that. And
yeah, that's another. They know where to spray to target something sometimes 5,000 miles away. Because some people say, planes aren't spraying you at 20,000 feet, Mr. Jones, to hit you on the ground. It's going somewhere else. Exactly.
That's right.
Well, also interesting because it is kind of covert because you don't see the planes. But when we were there, we also spoke publicly about the issue and urged people to do rain tests. And, of course, they did. We're unable to get it into the film. However, these rain tests, again, revealed very high amounts of aluminum, barium, and strontium, just what we suspected. So
absolutely. Let's talk to Woody in Seattle. Woody, you're on the air.
Hi, Alex. Thank you for taking my call. I've been taking a lot of time and effort in researching chemtrails over the last 2 years. I've been retired. I'm retired 25-year law enforcement, and I've traveled extensively across the United States. And I've seen it virtually in every major city and every medium-sized city that I've traveled through. And some of my research indicates that initially this goes all the way back to the 1980s when they discovered that the ozone shield was basically disappearing. And that the scientists basically devised this program initially to combat the deterioration of the ozone. No,
I've seen that from the 70s in our documents. That's exactly the research. That's I believe that's a cover story. Because 4 years ago, they had a government-issued textbook for 6th graders that said, oh, we're spraying you like a sunscreen to save the earth. G-Edward-Griffin comments.
Well, I agree with that. And they always come up with some explanation for why they're doing it. I mean, they're going to repair the ozone hole and all that stuff.
Well, if that was the truth, why'd they keep it secret then?
Yeah. Right. Yeah. Right on.
I'm going to skip this break and just keep you guys to the end of the hour. We don't skip breaks a lot, but this is just too important what we're doing today. Woody, anything else?
So, Alex, I just wanted to tell you that also if they can go back and research the Montreal protocols, they'll also discover that the pesticides that we've been using all over the United States on our crops also contributed majorly to the...
Your phone cut out. I'm going to have to let you go. Somebody called you on a fax machine. They will ban pesticides that are not very toxic and bad for humans and lie about DDT that did not make the eggs thin. That's admitted now, another hoax. But then they'll allow incredibly deadly pesticides and herbicides to be used. You guys want to comment on that? Oh, we didn't lose the caller. We lost one of the guests. Okay. Okay. Okay, do we have G. Edward or?
Yeah, I'm back on. My phone just went dead a moment ago.
Okay, I think that was our phone system then went dead because we lost everybody. The caller was talking about how they'll ban pesticides like DDT and lie about them, but then they'll authorize really deadly pesticides to be used.
Well, sure. And in other words, we're talking about hidden agendas here. How much evidence do we need? You know, this is back to my harsh statement about they're lying about this. It's hard for people to believe that the authorities, whom they've trusted all these years, will actually lie to them about such an important issue. But there it is, folks. You cannot deny it anymore.
Well, it goes back to just this. I mean, literally in my film, Endgame Blueprint for Global Enslavement. And the special ends this week, folks, to buy 1 copy and get 3 free and give it to folks you know, 3-hour film. I mean, there were thousands of where they radiate children to death, kill troops with nerve gas, our own troops. This is nothing. It's horrible, but it's nothing compared to the other stuff they've done. You know, injecting Guatemalan children with syphilis. That's who these people are. Of course they're doing all this stuff with the chemtrails. They're playing God.
Yep, that's it.